The transport industry in India is responsible for 30% of the total greenhouse gas emissions. The electric vehicle industry is regarded as a silver bullet to solve all the emission problems of the transportation industry. In this video, I will analyze the existing Indian policies that are made in order to promote the manufacturing and sales of electric vehicles. I will also understand the criticism. I will explain the criticism that is being faced by the EV industry from a consumer's point of view and from an environmentalist point of view. All in all, we'll understand if the electric vehicle market is really green or it is being portrayed by industries and manufacturers that it is green. Through this critical analysis, we'll also try to find out solutions and the kind of thinking that is required by a policymaker in order to design specific policies that are sustainable environmentally, economically, and in terms of society as well. As a whole, we'll understand the electric vehicle industry from a sustainable development point of view. The National Electric Mobility Mission Plan was adopted by the Government of India in 2013 to promote the manufacturing and sales of electric vehicles. Under this scheme, a lot of incentives were announced for people purchasing electric vehicles instead of conventional gas-based vehicles. Apart from that, a lot of incentives were also given to manufacturing industries to set up EV industries back in India. In 2015, under the name called FAME, which stands for Faster Adoption and Manufacturing of EVs in India, a separate budget was allocated for promotion of manufacturing and sales of electric vehicles. The main target of this mission was to promote electric vehicles to 5 to 10% of the total available vehicles in India. The policies were created in such a way that manufacturing industries were supported to set up electric vehicle manufacturing, and also incentives were given to people buying electric vehicles. Several state governments came up and supported this policy by announcing incentives and road tax exemptions to people buying electric vehicles. As a result, more than 8 lakh electric vehicles were registered all over India by the end of 2015. This policy has made a significant transition towards electric mobility. However, there is a long way to go. There is a significant criticism from consumers as well as environmentalists, and there are questions on whether electric vehicles are really green or not. Let us now understand this criticism in a detailed manner. Let us first understand from a consumer's point of view on why people are backing off from buying electric vehicles. The major concern of people, of consumers, from buying electric vehicles is the initial cost. As we know, the initial cost of electric vehicles is way too high that a common man cannot afford it. Now let us keep the affordability at a bay. Let us think that most people are willing to buy or afford an electric vehicle. Among the people who can afford to buy an electric vehicle, people have expressed concerns over charging points for their charges. Imagine going on a long drive with your family and running out of charge in between. It will be a horrible experience, isn't it? Hence, people are backing off from buying electric vehicles as of now due to unavailability of charging stations, especially out of the city. Another concern in terms of buying electric vehicles is the risk of fire accidents. Several consumers have expressed concern that there is a possibility of short circuit and a fire accident in an electric vehicle, which is much higher than that in a petrol or a diesel vehicle. This can be addressed by a behavioral change which will come across people slowly and steadily when other criticisms are being addressed. Let us now look into the environmental criticism of electric vehicles. Are electric vehicles really green, or they are marketed in being so? Let us understand with the help of some more criticism. For an EV to be considered green, the electricity on which the EV runs must be green. For instance, if we are running coal fired based power plants all over the country and using that electricity to power our EVs, there is no point in saying that we are reducing greenhouse gas emissions. Even though the transport industry's GHG emissions are going down, the GHG emissions of power industry or the energy industry will rise up, making no sense for environmental sustainability. Hence, before making EVs a success, we need to have renewable energy available throughout the country. The second major criticism against the electric vehicle industry is the battery manufacturing process and the life cycle emission of the electric vehicle as a whole. If we divide this into two parts, the first part would be the mining industry. As lithium ion is the technology used in most electric vehicle batteries, if we dig deeper into the manufacturing process of the batteries, we can understand that as the batteries are based on lithium ion technology, it requires rare earth metals like lithium, cobalt to manufacture these batteries. The mining process itself is not environmentally sustainable and leaves a huge environmental footprint. For instance, mining the rare earth metal cobalt requires a process called smelting, which releases a lot of sulfur dioxide into the atmosphere, which is one of the most potent greenhouse gases. Moreover, mining these rare earth metals may lead to leaching of pollutants into the soil, causing soil pollution. It may also help in leaching the environmental pollutions in air and water, resulting in contamination of air and water. Moreover, there is a health and safety concern of the workers working in the mining industry. These are the major problems while considering environmental sustainability of the manufacturing process of the lithium ion batteries, which are a major part in manufacturing electric vehicles. To further understand the problem of environmental sustainability of electric vehicles as a whole, a detailed life cycle analysis has to be conducted of the EV market, starting from the cradle of the industry to the grave of the industry. A detailed analysis has to be made as per the standards of the international organizations that are set for life cycle analysis. As a result, we'll understand the overall GHG emissions of electric vehicles and design our policies to reduce these GHG emissions. Well, what can policymakers do in order to come up with better policies or alter the existing policies to incorporate environmental sustainability into electric vehicle industry? First thing that can be done is policies addressing criticism. The criticism from consumers and from environmentalists have to be taken into account while designing the policies. In addition to that, promoting EVs and promoting the manufacturing and sales of EVs is not sufficient. A systems thinking based approach is required in order to understand the EV market, understand its life cycle emissions, and design policies that are sustainable socially, environmentally, and economically as well. Hence, in order to actually promote the EV market in a sustainable manner, a lot of criticism has to be taken into account by policymakers. Moreover, engineering designs can be updated with much more simpler and sustainable methods in order to reduce the environmental impact of manufacturing lithium ion batteries. Alternatively, a technology other than lithium ion can be used to manufacture batteries that can boost the EV sales to a large extent. All these are possible solutions and possible addressing to the criticism that is being faced by the EV industry. If these are addressed by policymakers and engineers together, that will help in reducing the GHG emissions and improving the environmental sustainability and environmental performance of a country as a whole.